welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. It is March 27, 2019. This is the Iraq report. So let's get started. Yesterday on Currency 365 channel, we talked about the draft law for the oil revenues to the citizens, which is a big deal. You know what I mean? And they try to do it with the national oil law, but we know what happened with that. The Supreme Court, came in and stepped in and shut that down, saying the money would go to the corrupt, right? So they're trying to do it again. This time it's going to be through the Finance Committee funds. They're going to give 10%. This is what this is the draft law they're proposing, and so let's see what happens here. It says expert two threats threaten Iraq if applied a proposal to distribute 10% of the oil money to citizens. Now, of course, the people that don't like this idea because it gives money to the oil, oil to the citizens, and they want to keep the citizens poor and they want to keep the citizens, down and out, and while they stay rich and continue to steal and money launder and funnel money in and smuggle money in, they're gonna have a problem with this. Okay, so let's just make sure we're clear on that. Not everybody is for this, because they don't want to see the citizens get anything. They rather have the citizens continue to beg, and they control the citizens. That's what they want. They want them to stay peasants, right? Even though it's in their constitution, as we spoke yesterday on Currency 365, to give the oil revenues to the citizens, they still have a problem with it. Okay, they still do not want that to happen. Even though it's part of the Constitution. If you don't want it to happen, then take it out of your Constitution. If you're not going to take it out of your Constitution, then you better do what's in the Constitution, or you need to be ousted. Point blank and simple. Okay, the Constitution is what it is, the Constitution of your country. You must obey by the Constitution of your country or vote it out of the Constitution. What is there a Constitution for if you're not going to abide by it? Okay. And so we have this guy, Maza Al Jawahri, or whatever his name is, the oil expert. And all these people calling themselves experts and stuff when they don't know nothing, right? He says consider the proposal of the Citizens Fund Bill to allocate 10% of the oil revenues to all Iraqis in its present text, wasted oil revenues and exaggerating unemployment, which are real dangers. Now, he's saying that 10% going to the citizens is wasted oil revenues. But what has Iraq done with 100% of the oil revenues to this date? Nothing. Okay, so if you want to talk about wasted money, what are you doing with the other money? What has Iraq done with all the money they've gotten from the oil revenues since the pre-war level, right? Since we invaded there, what have you done with all the oil revenue money? Why isn't Iraq back on the global stage? Why isn't the citizens why don't the citizens even have a community? Why is everything in rebels? Why is everything damaged? Why can't we get people in there for reconstruction? Why is the currency pretending to be under sanctions? Why is this? Why is that? Right? Why is there no jobs if you have oil revenues? What are you doing with your oil revenues? Oh yeah, it's going into the corrupt people's hands, and it's keeping Iraq down and out. So you're saying that giving 10% to citizens is going to be wasted money, but yet you can't even account what the 100% that you're doing with the oil revenue that are not going to the citizens according to the Constitution is doing for your own country. And that's how you know when somebody is corrupt, okay? Because they won't account for what they've done with the oil revenues in the last 5 years. Nothing, right? For their own country. But yet they saying that 10%, giving 10% of that away would be waste of money, but yet 100% is being wasted right now. Okay, and it's been wasted for years. Okay, and they're still begging, even with all the oil revenues. They did what, 8 billion in revenues in February, and they're still begging for loans and money from all around the world, right? And yet they're getting about 8 billion a month in oil revenues. Ridiculous. Okay, so that money is being wasted like that. Private jets, corruption, whatever it is, funding terrorism, whatever is used for, it's being wasted by the corrupt. And so giving 10% to the citizens, they deem that's going to just be a waste. But yet they can't tell you what has happened to the 100% that they've kept for themselves. It's ridiculous. Offshore accounts, maybe. It says the project is important for the citizens to feel ownership of the national wealth. No, that's not what the project is for. The project is to freaking go with the Constitution of your own country that gives you all revenues to the people who live in Iraq receive all revenues. That's just what it is. It shouldn't be a project. It shouldn't be a file. It shouldn't be none of it. It's a constitutional right for the citizens to own the oil revenues and of their country, a percentage of it. Point blank and simple. So the fact that they're making it into a project or something like they're doing something beneficial for the extra, it's like this bonus to the citizens, is ridiculous. Okay. Is and feel ownership and things like that. This is ridiculous. Of national wealth and promote citizenship and to achieve a fair distribution of resources. But we have to review the economic and industrial and agricultural situation. Yeah, you see how they say that. Oh well, citizens want to feel powerful, but look, we have all these other situations going on, and we need to address those. So is this should just be first on our list when we have all of these other situations going on, right? It's ridiculous. It sounds like reparations to the ADOS people, right? When it's time for reparations for the ADOS people, it's always there's excuses after excuses. Oh well, you guys weren't alive when slavery happened, or we have all these other people that are in need as well. What does that really mean? Reparations, Bernie Sanders, right? What does reparations really mean? Yeah, right. You know what reparations mean, Bernie Sanders, because you voted for it for your own people to receive it back in whatever the 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever it was when the Jews received reparations for the Holocaust. You voted on it, but now you want to say you don't even know what that means. You see, and that's what they're doing here for the Iraqi citizens. They don't even know they don't know what 10% means to the citizens because they have all these other issues. The agricultural and industrial and economic sectors in Iraq need to be addressed. Why should we give 10% over here? That's just going to be a wasted money. We need to deal with all these other situations, but they're not telling you that they'll never deal with these other situations. Because they've had how many years to deal with those situations, and they haven't on purpose. Okay, so give the citizens their own revenues. Okay, there's no excuse. It says as well as the amendments of its provisions, which is this is a waste of all revenues, and that's what they're going to continue to say. It's a waste to give the citizens the 10% all revenue, even though it's the constitutional right. It's a waste of money. Just like you guys in Parliament have wasted billions upon billions, literally $500 billion is what the last study said, of wasted money through the auctions and through the oil revenues and through fake projects, wasted money in the Parliament, but yet you feel like the citizens are not able to waste. You don't feel like you want to give the citizens 10%, so then they can go ahead and do whatever they want with that money. So you don't like the citizens to have money that they can just go and do whatever with, but you feel like you have the right to do whatever with the money that comes in from Iraq. It's ridiculous, and that's the mindset that they have. This is why they call them peasants. Okay, so they're going to make every excuse why the citizens shouldn't receive their oil revenues, just like many Americans make many excuses why the descendants of slaves in America don't deserve reparations. Okay, it's the same thing. But yet the people in America many of them voted for the Jews to receive reparations. They voted for the Indians with no problems for reparations. They voted for so many people have voted for the other countries around the world to receive reparations. But when it comes to the ADOS people, there's always an excuse why they don't feel like they should receive it. The same thing going on here for the Iraqi citizens, and it's part of their constitution. And yet there's excuses why they cannot. Some reason we just can't give these people their own, oil revenues. It's just not. It's just not right. We got all these other problems. They'll make excuse after excuse after excuse. And that's what's going on. Okay, so it says here, block in the reform, we intend to open 1,000 file corruption. Okay, so revealed the block of the parliamentary deputies affiliated with the Alliance of Reform and Reconstruction on the existence of 1,000 files of corruption. Okay, so now we have to look back and say, why aren't these files open? Why did a body not open these files? Why hasn't Abdul Mahdi opened these files? Why hasn't anybody opened these files? That's because the people that are in these files are still in the parliament, and so and so that's the problem with it. So they had to create a Supreme Anti-Corruption Council because Abdul Mahdi and Abadi as well refused to open the files. I mean, Abadi did open some of the files, but he didn't open all of them because his friends are in the files. Okay, and I think he even made some of that. He even made statements on that, like, my friends are in these files. So it's hard to open these files because my friends are in these files. So they created this council, and this council's job is to go after the corruption. So we saw corruption. We saw people being arrested yesterday in Mosul, and I think we're going to continue to see people be arrested all around the world, all around Iraq, excuse me, on corruption, anti-corruption, and stuff like that, and or on corruption because of this anti-corruption council. How about that? Okay, so they're gonna open up 1,000 files of corruption, and let's see what happens. And it's kind of interesting because even when they open up these files and we know who the big bad guys are, Maliki and his goons and all these other people, they never go after Maliki and his goons. Even though they see the files are right there in their faces, they talk about it. They'll put it on articles. They'll say Maliki wasted up $500 billion, or stole $300 billion, or whatever the case may be, and yet this man still has access to every building in Parliament. They have the files on him, they have everything on him, but yet they cannot remove this man. Okay, so. And that's because of the U.S. Congress. The Democrats on the U.S. Congress made Maliki a deal because they knew he was all this stuff was going to come out and he would be in big trouble. So they made him a deal. They cut him a deal during Obama. So because Obama was leaving, he wanted to make sure that he got a deal to be able to stay alive and be able to keep the corruption going in Iraq. Okay, so he got his deal from the Democrats. And that's why he's still alive and still around and still has access and power. And Abadi made it clear that it's Maliki and them that are the ones holding the country back. They are the ones. I had no power, says Obadi, during my last prime ministership. And so, if Obadi does come back this time, he will reign and with supreme power. He's not going to take it this time. He's going to be like Benny said. The elites told him in a meeting that Abadi has joined the new elites. So that means if Abadi did come back into power, the technocrats would be in place, and he would have a supreme power as the prime minister, and he wouldn't have to listen to none of their bull crap. They would be ousted and gone. Okay, so and then he can be able to save his country. All right, so let's see here. It says parliamentary security nomination of a military figure to the Ministry of Defense. Okay, so it says revealed a member of the Committee on Security and Defense Parliament, or whatever it is. It says the nomination of a military figure to fill the position of the Minister of Defense vacancy. Okay, so the names of 5 candidates. Now we have 5 candidates. This is ridiculous. first we had two, and it was two generals, right? And one could have been interior, the other one could just take the defense. Now, then we only had one name for defense, and now we have five again. It's like they're just making up stuff to make sure that this thing never happens. Also, the Supreme Council, we didn't see the article of them completing their case on the defense minister. So I don't even know what happened with that, and no one even brought it to me, or I haven't heard anybody talk about it in our community. Okay, so you guys can see the names there. It says the names of the five candidates for the post of defense minister have been sent to Prime Minister Abdul Mahdi. Okay, so there's no names. There's just five candidates, and they've been sent to Abdul Mahdi. Okay, so I don't know what that means. I mean, you're supposed to vote on this, so it was scheduled to pass the rest of the ministerial cabinet during the week. But well, here we go. We're not going to pass it again. Here comes the week. We're already on Wednesday, and by the time Saturday comes, oops, another week went by without no cabinet members completed, and here comes April. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is unconstitutional, and this is embarrassing, and he needs to be ousted. Sauter needs to step up here and say, "I've completed my project." Abdul Mahdi, we are going to announce your ousting in front of the public and to the citizens, because you cannot complete the cabinet members, and you intend to not even complete the cabinet members. You actually want to go the whole entire year without completing the cabinet members, and then have me oust you out in October. And that means that you're going to waste people's time, and we're not here to waste people's time, the citizens' time. We're here to get things done and the reforms done. I shouldn't have to beg my own people to complete reforms that benefit our citizens and our country. Something is not right, right? And so that's what Sauter is looking at right now. And he's also part of the problem as well behind the scenes. We get that as well. Okay. So it says it was scheduled. Okay, we know that didn't happen. It was scheduled to pass this week to the cabinet members, but what happened in Mosul from the coup and the fall of the victims? Okay, so right when they were about to quote unquote do the cabinet ministers, somebody sinks a ferry, and people are arrested in Mosul, and that's supposed to be the cause of the delay of ministerial cabinets. Are you kidding me? Like, come on, guys. You can't do two things at one time. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? Imagine if Donald Trump said something like that, like, "Yeah, man, I was supposed to, go listen to the budget, and we're supposed to get the budget passed this week, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the Mueller report was coming out. Like, you can't do two things at one time. You know what I mean? Like, you people have doctorates and PhDs and all types of stuff, and you telling me you can't do two things at one time? Just because a ferry sunk, which is a big deal, we get it, but that doesn't mean you can't vote and complete the cabinet members. Like, you don't want to complete the cabinet members, and you're going to continue to make events that keep you from completing the cabinet members, because that's your plan the whole time. The whole time it's been his plan to not allow these four names to go past, and to just wait all the way to October, and then be ousted by Sauter. So waste a year as a prime minister, and continue to get to keep the delays going and the corruption going in Iraq. That could have been his plan, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. Okay, so it is what it is. And you see somebody asked me about the green zone. And Green Zone's still not open 24 hours. I told you guys back in November the Green Zone is connected to those cabinet members. I didn't know. I was just speaking out of I don't know. I just said it on video. Maybe it was the Holy Spirit or not. I don't know. I just said it, and it looks like that's exactly what it is. The green zone is not open 24 hours yet, and the cabinet members still have 4 names to go, right? So the cabinet members in the green zone are connected, in my opinion. And I didn't know that back when I spoke about it in November. I just thought, I just had a gut feeling that that would make more sense. If you're gonna have the technocrats in it, you better not open that that green zone 24 hours without the technocrats being in those positions in cabinet. Point blank and simple. And that's what it looks like is happening. Okay, so I'll be shocked if they open the green zone 24 hours without completing those cabinet member names. That would shock me, but at the same time, because I'm saying it now, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that just to piss me off. Anyways, let's wrap it up here. We're 20 minutes in. It says the most important files to be discussed by the reform in the presence of Abdul Mahdi today's and evening. Okay, so they had a meeting tonight, which should be over by now because it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here where I'm at. So let's see here. It says the Alliance of Reform and Reconstruction on Wednesday evening. The meeting on the presence of Abdul Mahdi, and they're talking about the coalition of reform. Okay, they're talking about what they're talking about: the completion of the cabinet members and the review of the results of Mahdi's visit to Egypt. I guarantee you that they skipped over the cabinet members and went right to the results of the meeting with Egypt. The discussion on what the government completed, the government programs, and the security files. Yeah, I don't think they talked about the cabinet members. They probably talked maybe one or two things about cabinet members, how the process is going. Oh, it's going good. Okay, and then let's move on to Egypt and the government programs and security files and the rest of the other things. Because the way they're looking, they don't have any plans on completing the cabinet members. So I just think Sauter needs to make a move now. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. It says a major economic conference in Rome to discuss investment in Iraq. That's interesting. Okay, it says a conference will be held in Rome on Wednesday to discuss the most important investment axis in Iraq, especially in the areas of reconstruction. So everybody's talking about this reconstruction, but we know reconstruction cannot happen without free capital flow. And so we just continue to wait to see if Iraq's going to give the world free capital flow in and out to do reconstruction. Everybody wants to come into Iraq and put a stamp on their country inside of Iraq, but they're going to need free capital flow to do it. So we'll just wait and see on that. I'll see you guys later. That is the Iraq report. I'm going to do a fiat report on Currency 365. Meet me over there and checked out that video, and you guys can leave comments on that video. Of course, you can't leave comments or anything on Eyes of the Media. This is my baby. But on Currency 365, you can leave your comments and things like that for what we talk about over there. If you have anything to add to this or anything on the fiat report. That's about it. And did you hear? Oh yeah, by the way, did you hear what Karen Huda said in that video? On her update on the global currency reset. Did you guys catch that? I don't think a lot of people did because they got a lot of likes on that video, and it shouldn't have been a lot of likes. But people look at the titles and they don't actually listen and comprehend the video. This woman talked about she literally told on herself. She talked about bankrupting Donald Trump in the past, and also bankrupting Brett. What's his name? Cunahan or Brett Kavanaugh, the guy that was joining the Supreme Court justice. She talked about bankrupting them and things like that, and that's just okay. So I mean, she is literally telling on herself on who she is. But anyways, and I don't think people caught that. Maybe some did. So I hope to see more dislikes on that video. I did shut the rating off because I thought it was going to be a ton of dislikes, but surprise, surprise, there was a ton of likes. So maybe some of you guys are going to go back over it that did watch it and actually go back and rewatch it and then give some dislikes on that video. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Eyes open. Bye.